Sydney Sites free tour. Who's our tour guide? Isa?
There's no direct.
You got his name?
No direct.
Scott. Oh, Scott. Great Scott.
Di ko alam pa. Scott speak. He looked like a Scott.
Okay, he looked like a Scott, but we don't know if he's a Scott. The Sydney Sites free tour by I'm Free offers an engaging and informative walk through the heart of Sydney, perfect for first-time visitors. Led by knowledgeable and friendly guides like Owen here, the tour covers iconic landmarks like the Sydney Opera House, the Rocks, and the Harbour Bridge, as well as hidden gems and stories of the city's past. Running on a tips-only basis, it's an accessible way to experience Sydney's rich history, vibrant culture, and breathtaking views while meeting fellow travelers along the way.
Australia would become a country. And up until the 1970s, the tour of the Opera House, this is our main performance and ceremonial centre. Now these days it is mostly ceremonial. All the actual office work is done in that big grey cube building behind us. These days it hosts anything from opera to Lady Gaga, my brother's high school graduation.
Huwag tayo magpaiwan, Isa May! Dito kami sa Queen Victoria.
I've done for deaf and blind children. I have been given the power of speech. If you cast a coin into the wishing bowl now, I will say thank you.
If you rub your hand in the sensor, that usually does it.
Thank you. Rub, rub.
Alright. That's fine.
We are at Hyde Park. We've been here like, just cafe and those birds.
And these are the Australian white ibis, which we all call here the bin chicken. They're perfectly adapted with their long black beaks. They jump on top of bins and dig around inside.
Chicken.
They are loud and they have purr noise all over the time. They are smelly because they live in garbage, eat the garbage and poo it out again everywhere. They have nothing but my undying love and respect. The thing is, Australia is a place of extraordinary ecosystems that are found nowhere else on the planet. Unfortunately, many of these ecosystems are also very fragile. The ibis is actually not native to Sydney. It's native to the mangrove swamps in the northwest of New South Wales. Unfortunately, in the 70s, drought wiped out the majority of their environment and human encroachment pretty much did in the rest. Where we have lost so many other species to stories just like that, the ibis lives on, surviving and thriving inside of our garbage. At this stage, not just in spite of us, I do think to spite us. It's enough about the ibis. That's a bit noisy. I'm probably going to move just down that way to get away from it. John major project in Sydney was to build a hospital to replace that tent we'd been using for 20 years. However, England didn't want to give him any money. They'd sent him a perfectly good tent, so he had to find a way to raise the money himself. Corey approached 3 businessmen. I will give you the sole right to the import and sale of rum in Sydney if you use the profits to build me a hospital. And this is the southern wing. We also have the central wing and the northern wing, each larger and grander than the last. We liked our rum. But also, it's been a lot of things throughout its life as a government building. In particular, in 1856, this became the first arm of the Royal Mint outside of London to keep track of all the gold coming throughout the gold rush. And these days, it's a wonderful public museum open during the week.
Hindi mo malalaman yun.
Build city around the world, it depends on two things: the landscape it's built on top of and the material you have to build with. So all this material is Sydney sandstone. It's a very unique looking material. It's got this lovely red and yellow colour. The thing is, you can't get Sydney sandstone anymore. Around the 1920s, early 1800s, we pretty much dug up all the old quarries. So whenever Sydney's atmosphere rips the stuff apart, it needs to be replaced with sandstone from elsewhere, which is usually a lot more pale. For example, there's detail in the quarries, it's been replaced. It's a real character to the look of Sydney, but as you know, climate change and more carbon in the air rips these old buildings apart, you can see a lot more change going on throughout. Come up, he's a gorgeous pig. So this is Il Porcellino, or Little Pig in Italian. It's made by an Italian sculptor, gifted to the hospital, whose father and brother both worked here as surgeons. He is a replica of a 300-year-old bronze in Florence, which itself is a replica of a 2,000-year-old marble in Rome. As you can tell by the bit of drool coming out of his mouth, it is technically a fountain, and the coins to give to it are donated to patients inside the hospital. You can also rub his nose, or other bits, for good luck as well. One of my jobs, I used to work for a sculpture conservator. The job was just weird to redarken the penis because it'd be polished smooth. Great job for a 19-year-old. Anyway, we're going to stay for a bit, rub the nose, take some photos, and we'll get ready to cross the road over there.
Rub the nose. Good luck for us.
Oh, bilis. Bilis.
Picture. Saan?
Basta.
Widget.
Okay, 1, 2. Okay na ba? Complete na? 1, 2. Okay. Anong tingin? Hindi kayo kita.
Hawakan mo, pigrolak. Pigrolak. Hawak dito. I'll take a picture of you here. Oh, sorry.
Welcome to Angel Place and Forgotten Songs, a temporary art installation from 2009. Such perfect artwork. So in 2012, we reinstalled it as a permanent installation. The way it works is many of these cages have speakers in them, playing the songs of 50 bird species that can no longer live in the city. They're not necessarily extinct, but you won't hear the song anywhere else except here. It changes as the day goes on to reflect which birds are active at which time. The names of these birds are on the ground beneath us as we go along. Wow. Now, another thing I like to point out while we're here. That was left out of the will. Still got a familiar nose, so you're not completely left out. Now, I actually have a Bachelor in Fine Arts majoring in sculpture. My job before this was in a foundry making bronze sculptures. So now you get to learn all the useless stuff about sculpture that I know. Now, a lot of people don't realise the location in which a sculpture is placed is often as important as the sculpture itself. So this guy is human scale. He's off to the side when it's a really crowded place during the week with everyone sitting down. He's under a bit of shade. It makes him as easy as possible to mistake for being a real person. In that case, it's a very, very successful use of location, especially on a Friday night and you're going through, you're a bit drunk because you've been out at the lash, and it goes like, poof! So it snaps you back into sobriety. Anyway, the less successful use of location is just around the corner.
It's a shame that we saved the Sydney Sights walking tour for our last day in the city. Looking back, it should have been one of the first things we did. The tour provided such a fantastic overview of Sydney's history, culture, and hidden gems. If only we had experienced it earlier, it would have set the stage for exploring the city with a deeper appreciation. Next time, it'll be our starting point for sure. We're gonna eat here at the fish market. After the tour, we headed to the fish market for lunch. And all that we can say is that it's the best meal we had in Sydney. As our journey through Melbourne and Sydney comes to an end, I can't help but feel incredibly grateful for the memories we've made together. Exploring these amazing cities with my best friends has been an experience I'll cherish forever. Every moment has been unforgettable, not just because of the places we've seen, but because of the people I've shared them with. Thank you for being part of this adventure with me. Here's to the laughter, the late night talks, the countless photos, and everything in between. I couldn't have asked for better travel companions, and I hope this is just the beginning of many more adventures together. Until the next trip, let's keep the spirit of exploration alive wherever life takes us.